What up, what up, what up, what up, what up to another edition of Moment with the Messiah. It is the one and only Mr. Vega holding it down, repping Honest Assholes podcast. You already know what it is. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting us. We've been going strong for 3 years. I'm loving the outcome. I'm loving everything that I'm doing, and I'm reaching out to more and more people, and I'm loving it. And this is what I do, and this is what I'm meant to do, and we're going to keep it going. With that being said, tonight's guest. Now, I'm all about flowers and moments with the messiahs, but tonight's episode is real special to me because something happened that I didn't think would happen. That being said, tonight my guest, Mr. Aries Spears. What it do, man?
What's up, dog? What's up? What's up?
Oh man, you know what, bro? I've been really excited and I've been in a good mood ever since I got that confirmation from you, my brother, because I've been out here working and doing what I gotta do just to put my part out there in the media business, man. And when you reached out to me and said it was okay, I've been in a good mood, even though I thought you was a goddamn spam when I first got the inbox from it. I was like, wait, is this a spam? Is this for real?
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, yeah, and ever since then, man, you've been very patient and very genuine, and I really want to thank you for coming out tonight, bro.
It's all good, brother.
You know what I'm saying? So, first of all, man, let's get up in this thing because at the end of the day, you are Mr. Aries Spears, and when it comes to being an honest asshole, I look at I look at guys that I grew up on as far as like comedians, and I'm like, man, Mr. Aries Spears, this is the same guy that I used to watch on Mad TV. It's the same guy I used to watch do all these impressions. Like, man, what is the conversation gonna be like with this guy, man? Because I see, I watch you consistently on Vlad TV, and I see a lot of your podcast episodes as well, man. So again, thank you again for coming out. You know what I'm saying? So my first question that I want to ask you,
But I,
bro.
I hope I'm more based on your title. I hope I'm more honest than an asshole.
Mm. Well, yeah, you can be, or you can be a little bit of both. You know, the show's really based on versatility, so I feel it. You know what I'm saying? You can definitely be both, but definitely honest is one of the not too many people know how to be honest nowadays, or they're scared to be honest. So that's when I put the title together. I was like, okay, honest asshole is gonna work. I could be an asshole, but I'm gonna be honest at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's what I go by. You feel me? So my first question I want to ask you, bro. Now being a comedian, coming out with all these jokes, the pressure is there. Especially when you say a lot of things that people don't necessarily agree with, or you just say things that people just want to just throw a fucking hate mob towards you. So the question I want to ask you: does Aries Spears feel blackballed?
Well, I mean, in this game, if you don't tap dance or play according to the tune that Hollywood wants you to, they don't ever like to use the term technically blackball because that would in and of itself label them for what the industry is. So they'll never use that term. But if it smells like a duck, quack like a duck, it's a duck.
Oh God, even if it's an ugly duck, it's a goddamn duck.
Yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, I definitely to a degree do feel blackballed because there's no way that I could be been in the game as long as I've been in it for 33 years, going on 34, and I'm not one to toot my own horn, but you know, from what I've been told, even if I'm not in your top 5 or 10, top 10 comedians, I'm in there somewhere. So there's no
Right.
I shouldn't be working or doing or getting some of the opportunities that some of the other dudes get without reason. So I think the math adds up itself.
Mm. And the way you put it, it's like no matter what you say, no matter what you do to me, I'm still gonna do what I do, and I'm still gonna tell my jokes. I'm still gonna sell out these arenas. I'm still gonna, blackball or whatever the hell you want to call it. So it just doesn't stop you, man. And that's what I've always loved about you, man, and admired about your comedy, man. It's like no matter what it is, man, it's you're always gonna be you. The same shit that created who you are 30 plus years. You know what I'm saying? So why stop now just because somebody doesn't agree with you? You know?
Yeah, I mean, the game is such that now with social media and all these platforms, you don't necessarily have to lean on Hollywood to feed you. Even though if you in the club, if you in the game, it's the best way to be fed. Because in terms of all the money that it generates, the opportunities, and on a grand scale, there's nothing bigger than this when it's right. But if they locking you out for whatever reason, you can still eat, but it's a harder struggle.
Definitely, definitely. I feel like, and it's funny when you say that, man, because I feel like I have to work extra hard because all of my early years of my social media, like I was getting flagged for literally everything. Like I'm talking like I had to show ID, like all because of the shit that I was posting, because I grew up, just not only growing up speaking your mind, but that's the type of comedy I grew up on. I'm not here to offend nobody, just trying to make people laugh, but in my own way. So, and that comes to with my next question I got to ask you, my brother. So, you came in the game and came up with a lot of comedians, like a lot of comedians. You know what I'm saying? And that's just you just have to be there to experience the black excellence of black comedians, just like in their prime, progressing to who they are today. So, what makes you different from a lot of other comedians, bro?
Well, I come from that era. I was born in '75. I'm an '80s baby, so I come from that last era of dinosaurs. Where when in the '70s, well, actually in the '60s, you had my man. What's my man's name? I'm a Dick Gregory, and then by
Oh
the
yeah,
prior, and then by the '80s you had Eddie Murphy, and the '90s was the explosion of Def Comedy Jam, which opened
whew,
the door and let America see that you didn't have to just have one funny nigga per decade. You know, um, what's my man? Dick Gregory and Red Fox kind of had the '60s, even though it was
right.
more Dick Gregory than Red Fox. The '70s belonged to Richard, the '80s belonged to Eddie, and by the '90s, when you had the explosion of Def Jam, that was for America to see that it could be more than one funny nigga per decade. And that's when the explosion of all the black comedians happened. So I come from that era where, this was pre-internet, pre-social media, pre-wokeness, pre-political correctness, when you could still be edgy and be who you wanted to be and not have cancel culture trying to end your life and your career based off of a joke.
Man, and I think that's where that's where the authentic part of comedy is like not there anymore. It's due to the fact that you know we're in an era where we pretty much have. I don't know if we have to be more considerate towards people's feelings or just pretty much shut the fuck up because we got to worry about your feelings.
Yeah, listen, again, coming from my era, I only know one way to do it, and that's the best way to do it, which is pure honesty. And when you look at the guys like, again, Richard, Red, uh, Dick Gregory, Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Patrice O'Neal, I only know how to do it one way. So I'm a dinosaur. I'm stuck in my ways. I can't, nor am I willing to adjust comedically for the climate that exists today. My comedy cocaine is pure uncut, unstepped on, straight up, 100% yayo, Bolivian uncut yayo. And if I even try to uh, change my style to fit today's level of sensitivity, I don't even feel confident in knowing that I could be funny that way because that's not who I am.
So do you feel like, is it safe to say, do you feel like by you being like an OG in the game, by being in the game so long, do you think because the cancel culture or whoever just, have strong feelings about certain comedy, do you feel like, it's a dent in comedy due to the fact that you really have to walk on eggshells when you're telling these jokes?
Absolutely. Because good comedy is supposed to be a little dangerous. And this is where I tip my hat to the great comedian of this generation, who I think is our today's generation of Richard Pryor, is Dave Chappelle, because he's unapologetic, he's unforgiving, and he is who he is. And even during the climate of when he did his special on Netflix, I forget the name of the special, but we
Sticks and Stones.
transgenders for a long amount of time, and he cut all the flack, and he said that the transgender community basically said, yo, we want to talk to you. And he said, I'm willing to talk to you, but you will not summon me. So whatever this power structure is that they think they have in the LGBT community, the transgender community, we should always be open to dialogue, because dialogue creates change. Dialogue creates understanding. And so we all want to treat people on a dignified level, a human level, a level of understanding, and empathy and sympathy. But you're not going to summon me. You're not going to act like you got a power over me that you don't have, just to facilitate your beliefs and your ideals. Because at the end of the day, it's comedy. It's subjective. It's an art form. So whether you agree with it, disagree with it, like it, dislike it, at the end of the day, it's an art form. And I think so many people today are caught up in a level of sensitivity that they want to feel like their opinion is law. And even if you don't like what I'm doing as an artist, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to your feelings. But don't state your opinion like it's law, because it's not law. Just because you don't like it don't mean everybody else dislikes it. If something's not funny to you, then say it's not funny to me. But when people go, oh, it's just not funny, and leaving it, it's just not funny, like their word is law, that's a very dangerous game we're playing.
Man. So, and in your honest opinion, and like, what's the best way? Like, how do you handle backlash when it comes to like your comedy? Like, what's the best way to handle? Like, how does Mr. Spears handle the
Give
backlash?
a fuck. At the end of the day, listen, man, the power is in the people. The people decide. No matter what you say, no matter how offensive it is, how many people dislike it, the power is in the numbers. If you still have the ability to sell out a show, a theater, an arena, that means that your audience supports you regardless as to what your beliefs are. And obviously, if they share that same sentiment, they ride with you. And for the people that don't, fuck them. You don't have to come to the show. You don't have to buy a ticket. You don't have to support me. But if my numbers are such where the people that believe in what I'm saying, agree with what I'm saying, like what I'm saying, come out and support me, then that's my audience. I'm not the comic for you. Find the comic that's for you and support that. But to think that you could somehow shut down my livelihood, cancel me, make it so that I can't feed my family, pay my bills, and support my way of life based off your beliefs? Get the fuck out of here. Who the fuck are you?
Mm-hmm. Talk that shit. I love it. I love it, man. I love it, bro. The energy is real. This is why this is one of the reasons why I was excited, bro, because I knew you were going to talk this shit, bro. And I'm like, what better way to do it than here? So, what's the hardest part? Like, and it's just for you. What's the hardest part about being a comedian?
It's just like I said, man, being true to yourself, because there's so much pressure in terms of what it takes to make it, what it takes to be accepted, and especially by Hollywood. Because I always say, I put it in boxing terms. There's the people's champ and there's the paper champ. You would love to be both. You would love to be embraced by the people and the paper. And by paper, I mean the industry. The industry. And there's a lot of dudes who are successful on paper by Hollywood standards. But sometimes Hollywood standards don't match the people's standards. And it's unfortunate because as much as you want and need and would like for the people to be responsible for paying your bills and your way of life, sometimes the people don't validate you financially the way the industry can, because it's a multi-million-dollar industry. But if you're strong enough and good enough to get the support of the people where you don't need the industry, well, then you can survive. But some comics can't do that. They need the industry. And if you're fortunate enough to be able to survive off the people without the industry, well, then you're in a good situation. But the most ideal situation is to be supported by both. Because if you can get the people's money and the industry's money, which the industry's money is a lot more money, well, then you're good.
Mm. Mm. Mm, bro, my nigga just over here dropping the Baghdad bombs. I love it. I love it. So this next question, I was like, all right, let me just see. Let me just see. But I am curious. So if offered, you know what I'm saying? If they said, if he just came at you and said, if Shannon Sharp offered you an interview on his show, would you do it?
Well, first of all, I've reached out to Shannon Sharp a couple times. And both times he told me he would have me on, and then he didn't. So I'm not going to sit here and shit on Shannon Sharp, but I have to believe there's a reason why he didn't. Now, maybe his producers or the people in charge said, nah, we can't fuck with Aries. But when I reached out to him on Instagram in his DMs, he hit me back and he said, nigga, I got you. But then he didn't get me. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's the politics. Maybe that's the higher ups. But, you know, I would love to do Shannon Sharp, but I'm also not chasing niggas. If Shannon Sharp don't want to fuck with me after I've reached out to you once, twice, then I'm not going to chase you. So it's not meant for me then.
Yeah. The only reason why I asked that question too, it just seems like that's like been like the hot platform where a lot of comedians just been going and like really getting their shit off, and I just
But it
been,
was the hot platform once Cat touched it.
oh yeah,
Not
yeah,
saying that Shannon Sharp wasn't already a great platform, but Cat took it to another level.
yeah. That is true, man. So, and it's just certain comedians, that I would like, certain comedians that I grew up on. I would love to see um on that show, just because the type of comedy that they bring. Like when I think of like comedians like you, I think comedians like like Eddie Griffin, because I'm a fan of him as well, because I love that black, like that dark comedy, man, because that's what I grew up on. And the type of comedy where I have to like sneak in the fucking room and listen and watch it without my mom. Like my mama hated the fact that Harlem Nights was my favorite movie at the age of 7. So it's like, well, yeah, if it's funny, it's funny. And black comedy, like dark comedy, is just what I love, man. So that's why I had to ask you that question, because I feel like, besides Cat, it's not really, he didn't really have too many dark comedians on there. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
But
you can count all the comedic cocaine comics that are potent on one hand. Cat, Eddie Griffin, myself, Faison, Corey Holcomb, Godfrey, Amanda Seals. There's only a couple comics left in the game who bring that pure uncut coca. And a lot of them, a lot of our careers have suffered because of it.
yeah, man. I mean, I like that authentic shit, man. So that's another reason, one of the main reasons why I fuck with you, bro, because you speak your mind, you go off. Like one of my favorite segments
It's
from
like
you was,
it's like pussy without a condom. It's the best
oh,
sex. With the
yeah,
cover on, it's still good, but it ain't the same.
that's a good example too, man. So this next question I want to ask you, my bro. Do you feel like, and I really like put some thought into this question as well. Do you feel like Mad TV doesn't get enough props because it came out like during the time, I guess when Saturday Night Live was on, and then we had just went through the In Living Color era. So it's like I feel like Mad
Mad,
TV doesn't get talked about enough.
Mad TV again, as far as the people, and if you look online, everybody tell you when we had our run, we were better than SNL. We were better than them comedically, and we were a fan favorite. Now, the ratings, SNL is a juggernaut. You can't lie. It's like the difference between playing in the NBA and the CBA. No matter how good we were, fucking with SNL, a 40-plus year history, we were competing against the NBA. We were never going to beat them in terms of that. But in terms of the run we had, my 8 to 10 year run, we were better than them comedically. But, you know, they're a juggernaut, so you got to tip your hat to them. In Living Color, Mad TV, SNL, that era is finished. We came up in the, you know, obviously Saturday Night Live had a run from the 70s all the way up until, but from the 70s all the way up until about the 2000s, that era of television is no more. Everything is too sensitive now. It's too moist.
And that shit just sucks, bro. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I'm not one to just tease a motherfucker because they got a like disability or some shit. But it's like, man, half the shit that people complain about nowadays, especially when it comes to comedy, it's like, come on, bro. You capping. You putting the cap on comedy, and it's like real fans like me, real comedians like you. We just feel like, oh my goodness, it's just not the same no more. We're getting a whole bunch of watered down shit, and that's again, that's why I give you your flowers and salute you for still doing you, man, for never switching up your and still just keeping it real, bro. And I love that shit about you. So keep that shit going. Like, you know, I'm gonna be a fan, obviously. You feel me? Um, in your honest opinion, because you know we're getting a little closer towards the end, but wanted to ask you, in your honest opinion, you know, you've been around a lot of comedians, like a lot of comedians. Who do you feel like are some underrated comedians that don't get the love and respect as comedians?
Well, I don't know that they're underrated. I think that underground, they're given the props that they deserve because people know how great they are. I think Godfrey is a comedian that doesn't get the shine he deserves. But again, he's a pro-black, loud-spoken, proud black man. And in Hollywood, that's a threat. Amanda Seales is the female version of him. She's fucking phenomenal, but she's very outspoken, very political, very pro-black, a woman. So she's a threat. As much as I may not necessarily like Faison Love because of history we've had between us and things he's said about me, as much as I might not like Corey Holcomb from a personal level because of issues we've had, I don't discredit who they are as comedians. Faison Love is hilarious. Corey Holcomb is a beast. But I think that we all are under that same umbrella of unapologetic, fearless, straight, raw, uncut cocaine, unapologetic niggas. And in this game, that's a threat. We're not safe. It's like if our comedy was a beverage, and this is no disrespect to Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is a phenomenal motherfucker. He's a juggernaut. He's one of the most successful dudes in the game. But Hollywood is political. It's racial. They like safe niggas. They like niggas who don't stir the pot. And if Kevin Hart's comedy was a drink, and I don't mean this as a diss, I'm not shitting on Kevin. But for some of white Hollywood, Kevin Hart is the Capri Sun. We are Hennessy, nigga. We are Hennessy. No chaser. And that's not a slight to Kevin, because he's a phenomenal nigga. And he's successful. And I wish I could be as big as him. But he does everything right. Even Dave Chappelle said in his Netflix special, Equanimity, he does everything right. He makes white people feel safe. And that's a good thing. And this is not a slight to Kevin at all. But everybody can't do what Kevin does. Some niggas are hard, straight, no chaser. And for some white people in Hollywood, the powers that be, that's rough on their palate. They can't take that. They don't like that.
Damn, bro. That's it's like when you put shit in perspective, I look at it in a different way. So I'm like, oh, damn. So have you ever like been offered a Netflix special? Because I was just like thinking
No,
that the other day,
won't fuck
like
with me.
no,
Netflix won't fuck with me.
shit, god damn it,
They refuse to
because
fuck with me.
that shit is terrible, bro. Because half these motherfuckers would stand up on it. I ain't never even heard of. I'll be like, fuck, like. But my guy said Netflix will not fuck with. Damn, that's I guess. I guess.
Like I said, if you talented enough, if you good enough, like Tupac said, the roads come through the concrete. There's a way in. You got to get around it. You got to get over it. You got to get under it. You got to tunnel it. You got to go left. You got to go right. There's a way to get in, if not through the front door. You just got to figure it out. And that's the challenge. So whether Netflix eventually fucks with me or don't fuck with me, if I got the people behind me, there's a way to figure it out. My journey might be longer, tougher, more complex, more frustrating, but there's a way to get it done.
Mm. So with that being said, my last question: if you had any type of like free game or any type of advice to give like any upcoming comedians, it don't even have to be a long game or whatnot. Like, what would it be?
In terms of advice,
Yeah.
life is a 15-round fight, baby. You get sometimes you come out round after round, you might win some, you might lose some. Sometimes you just got to cover up and take the rib shots. But as long as you hit a bell, come out swinging. Until the final fucking round is over, come out swinging. And if you passionate about this shit, if you love this shit, if you about this life, then you'll give your life for it. I'm gonna die trying. If I'm gonna make it on my level and on my terms, I'm gonna die trying. Either I'm gonna do it or I'm gonna be in a casket, knowing that if I don't do it, I died trying.
Mm.
Don't give up, because when you give up, you quit. It's an automatic quit. Keep fighting. Keep answering the bell.
There we go. And no, and by you being an OG, man, no regrets, right? Like you living life to the fullest. Like there's no regrets, right?
Listen, Chris Rock had a great quote. He said, "The worst job in Hollywood is better than the best job out of it." So no matter how hard I might struggle, no matter what I go through in terms of perspective, me working a regular 9 to 5, having to answer to a boss, get up when I don't want to, a job I don't want to, deal with coworkers and a boss I don't want to, punch a clock and make money that I got to slave for. Me on my worst day is better than a lot of niggas on their best day out of this.
Mm.
Why would I quit? Why would I quit? If I got the people behind me and I believe in myself till I draw my last breath, and with social media and these platforms, which now offer you another avenue to be the rose in the concrete, until my final chapter is done, I'm the author of my own destiny.
Mm. And you heard him. With that being said, I want to thank you for coming out, bro. This has been one of the best interviews I had. You kept that shit 100. You did exactly what I knew you were gonna do in my head, man. And thank you, bro. I really like it. Really means the world that you came out tonight, man. I
Hat
appreciate
tip,
you.
hat tip.
Definitely, man. And, hopefully, as I continue to progress, man, you come back for the show. I feel like, I want to toot my horn, but I feel like we locked in now, so excited.
Let me state for the record, because there's so much shit that's said about me online, fucking nonsense, verbiage, hearsay, high school type shit. Aries don't do this, Aries don't do that, Aries don't fuck with his own people. Listen, man, if you know anything about me and you do your homework and you check the fucking homework on me, from Vlad TV interviews to my nigga Willie D from the Ghetto Boys to my posts on Instagram, Facebook. Listen, man, I fucks with niggas. And not trying to demean you in any way, but I could have chosen to say, nah, man, you're not big enough. Who the fuck are you? But I'm giving you a shot, which helps you, but at the same time helps me, because no matter how small your audience, based on your level of success or notoriety, every little bit helps. So one hand washes the other. So if I could help you through my name and whatever notoriety I got to in turn help me to grab your fans, fuck it. One hand washes the other. And we can dispel the myths and dispel the bullshit. Niggas that don't know you, go off speculation. Do self-investigation. Holler at me. So now you can spread the legend. He ain't like that. He a real nigga. You just gotta approach me with respect. And if you approach me with respect, I give it back to you. But if you're gonna approach me with speculation and hearsay and act like a fucking childish teenage schoolgirl with bullshit, you're gonna get that back.
And there you have it. It's the motherfucking Messiah. Bro came on here and did his shit. Again, Mr. Aries Spears, thank you for coming out. This has been another edition of Moment with the Messiah. Live streaming Wednesday, 7 p.m. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's going up, baby. It's Mr. Aries Spears.
Before I go, please check out my podcast, Spears and Steinberg, available on all streaming platforms. Slide in my DMs on Instagram, Aries Spears, blue check mark. A lot of fake accounts out there, but Aries Spears, blue check mark. Slide in my DMs. I'll chop it up with you, send you the links. Also hit my YouTube channel, Spearsberg Pod, SPEARSBERG POD. Hit like and subscribe. And my nigga, anytime you want to fuck with me, throw the bat signal in the air. I'll meet you on the roof like Commissioner Gordon.
Hell yeah. And there you have it, baby. It's the Messiah, Aries Spears. We locked in, baby. Let's get